Every community has them, the silent members, the ones who join with good intentions but never comment, never show up to events, and never even hit the like button. But what if I told you those members aren't disengaged? What if they're just waiting for the right nudge to shine? Today, we're talking about how to turn those lurkers into leaders and unleash the hidden potential in your community. Hey there, I'm Rachel Starr, ex-wedding planner and recovering people pleaser turned Your Community Strategist. And not too long ago, I felt a bit like Angela, planning a Dunder Mifflin party, trying to make things perfect, yet wondering if people would actually show up and enjoy themselves. That's when I discovered the real game changer, community building. It's the key ingredient to everything. Whether you're launching your next course, growing a podcast, or creating a space where people want to connect and engage. Each week, we'll roll up our sleeves and dive into the essentials of community building, from virtual events and workshop planning to fresh, innovative strategies for fostering real connections, all without the party planning committee drama. Whether you're just getting started or ready to level up, you'll find practical tips, expert interviews, and real-world insights to help you craft a community that fuels your next big move. So if you're ready to get inspired and transform the way you build connections, you're in the right place, friends. Let's dive in and master the art of community together. Welcome back to Your Community Strategist. I'm Rachel, your guide to building communities that thrive with energy, connection, and a little sprinkle of strategy. And today's episode might just change how you think about engagement forever. Okay, friends, let's start with the big question. Why do people lurk? Why do some members join a community, then quietly fade into the background? I've got 3 main reasons for you, and spoiler alert, they have nothing to do with laziness or disinterest. First, there's fear of judgment. Many people hesitate to post because they're afraid of saying the wrong thing or being criticized. This is especially true in professional or knowledge-based communities where imposter syndrome runs wild. Second, there's lack of clarity. Some members genuinely don't know how to get involved. They're waiting for an invitation or clear guidance on what to do next. And third, there's overwhelm. If your community is bustling with activity, new members might feel like they're interrupting an already established group. So instead of jumping in, they hang back. I'll share a quick story. A client of mine ran a wellness community and noticed a large chunk of her members never posted. When she reached out to one of them, the member said, "I didn't know if the space was for beginners like me or just pros." That one conversation uncovered a huge opportunity to make the community more inclusive. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. So now that we've explored why people lurk, let's dive deeper into the barriers that hold them back. These barriers aren't just about shyness or a lack of interest. They're often structural or emotional hurdles that we, as community leaders, can remove. Let's break it down. Number 1, unclear expectations. If members don't know what's expected of them, they're less likely to act. It's like showing up to a party and not knowing if you should mingle, bring a gift, or just sit in the corner. The same goes for communities. When the purpose of the space is unclear or there's no guidance on how to participate, members default to staying quiet. That's why it's so important to set the tone early. Be explicit. Here's what we do here. Here's how you can join in. Spoon feed the information. In your community onboarding process, and if you don't have one, friends, it's time to create one. This is your moment to shine. Lay out a clear roadmap for success, guiding members on how to engage and thrive in your community from day one. Number 2, feeling unseen. Let's face it, everyone wants to feel like they matter. In a community, that means acknowledging contributions, whether big or small. If the community feels too big, or if the leaders seem disengaged, members might assume their voice won't make a difference. They might think, why bother? No one's going to notice. This is where leaders need to step up, make people feel seen. Simple actions like responding to comments, calling out great posts, or even sending a quick DM to thank someone for participating can go a long way. Number 3, lack of connection. People don't join communities to feel like strangers. They join to find their people. But if members don't see shared values, experiences, or interests, they'll struggle to connect. They'll scroll, they'll lurk, but they won't engage. This is why fostering connection is critical. Icebreakers, introductions, and small group opportunities can work wonders. Pairing members with similar interests or creating subgroups can help them find their place and feel like they belong. Now, number 4, a fear of judgment. Here's a big one we haven't mentioned yet, and that is that fear of being judged. For many people, the thought of sharing an idea, asking a question, or even saying hi can be intimidating. They might worry that their comment isn't good enough or that they'll say the wrong thing. This fear is amplified in communities that lack clear norms around respect and kindness. That's why it's so important to create a culture where every contribution is valued and to actively shut down any negativity before it takes root. And then number 5, overwhelming content. When communities are packed with posts, threads, and events, members can feel lost. They might think, I'll never catch up, or I don't know where to start. A cluttered community can be a silent engagement killer. Streamlining content, creating clear pathways for engagement, and even using features like pinned posts or welcome messages can make the space feel less overwhelming. Identifying these barriers is just the beginning. The real magic happens when you start actively addressing them. Here's a challenge. Pick one barrier from this list and brainstorm 3 ways to tackle it in your own community. Once you make even small changes, you might be surprised at how quickly those quiet lurkers start to find their voice. All right, now we're diving into the heart of today's episode. Strategies to gently nudge lurkers into engaging. These aren't pushy tactics, they're subtle, thoughtful ways to invite participation and make members feel comfortable stepping into the spotlight. Let's break out the toolkit. First up, creating exclusive challenges. Challenges are pure gold when it comes to engagement. They're low pressure, often fun, and create a sense of shared purpose. For instance, in a photography community, you might host a 1 photo a day challenge, where members post a single image in a dedicated thread or image space. It's simple, approachable, and gives people a clear reason to engage. The magic here is the simplicity. No need for heavy time commitments or advanced skills. But if you want to take it up even a notch higher, add a deadline and an optional prize. A little friendly competition or even the promise of a virtual badge can be surprisingly motivating. Number two, personalized outreach. A little personalized attention goes a long way. Reach out directly to lurkers with a quick, warm message. Something like, "Hey, I noticed you joined recently. Welcome." If you ever have questions or want to share something, I'd love to hear from you. This small gesture can transform how someone feels about their role in your community. So, I've done this in my own community, and the results are truly incredible. One time I reached out to a member who had never posted. A week later, she shared an amazing story that sparked a huge conversation. Not only did she come out of her shell, but she also became one of the most active contributors. It just goes to show the power of a personal touch. Number three, highlight small wins. Everyone loves a little recognition, even for tiny steps. If someone likes their first post or makes a comment, celebrate it. Call it out in a subtle but meaningful way. "Thanks for chiming in, Alex. Great point." Or if they attended an event but stayed quiet, send them a quick message afterward. "So glad you could join us today." These micro acknowledgments make members feel valued and encouraged to participate more. Number four, ask for feedback. Lurkers might not be ready to contribute openly, but they often have valuable insights. Tap into this by asking for feedback in a low pressure way. Use questions like, "What do you wish we did more of in this group?" Or, "What's one thing that would make it easier for you to jump in?" Not only does this show you care, but it also gives you actionable ideas to improve your community. Number five, spotlight community content. Another great strategy is to highlight user generated content. Let's say a lurker finally posts a question or shares a tip. Feature it in your next newsletter or as a pinned post. Something like, "Shout out to Amy for starting an awesome thread. Check it out here." It validates their effort and shows other lurkers that their contributions will be noticed and appreciated. Number six, host low stakes events. Consider events that require minimal participation, but still make members feel included. For example, a casual show and tell session where everyone brings a favorite book or shares a quick win. The idea is to create opportunities for connection without the pressure of performing. These strategies aren't about forcing people to participate. They're about creating moments where they want to participate. Lurkers are like seeds. They just need the right environment to bloom. So take these ideas and adapt them to your community's unique vibe. Trust me, you'll see those quiet observers start to find their voice in no time. All right, let's turn the dial up a bit. We've talked about getting lurkers to engage, but now we're going to focus on the ultimate goal: transforming those newly engaged members into community leaders. This is a sweet spot where engagement grows organically and your members start to take ownership. Here's how to nurture that growth and turn quiet contributors into active leaders. First up, leadership often starts with recognition. Pay close attention to members who are consistently engaging, even in small ways. Maybe they're answering questions, sharing valuable resources, or offering encouragement to others. These are the seeds of leadership. Your job is to notice them and let those members know you see their contributions. When you see someone stepping up, even in a subtle way, call it out. A message like, "You've been a great source of support in our discussions. Thank you, Beth," can make a huge impact. Sometimes all it takes is a little nudge for someone to see themselves as a leader. Next up, the best way to help members grow as leaders is to give them opportunities to lead. You can start small. Invite them to host a discussion thread. Ask if they'd like to moderate a conversation. Encourage them to lead a mini event like a Q&A session or a casual meetup. These roles are low stakes but high reward. They build confidence and create a deeper sense of connection to the community. I had a member in one of my communities who started as a lurker but became a superstar after participating in a challenge. She was posting regularly, sharing ideas, and encouraging others. That community had become her new habit. I reached out and asked if she'd like to help co-host the upcoming event. She was hesitant at first, but then she said yes. That small step gave her the confidence to lead more activities, and within a few months, she was one of their most dedicated leaders. The transformation was seriously, truly incredible. All right, you have to keep in mind that leaders don't thrive in isolation. They need resources and encouragement to succeed. Offer simple guidelines or templates for hosting discussions or events. For example, a checklist for moderating a thread, or maybe a script or outline for leading a virtual meetup. Or maybe think about creating a guide to handling common community questions. Pair them with a mentor or check in regularly to provide feedback and support. Leaders are more likely to step up when they know they're not doing it alone. And don't underestimate the power of ongoing encouragement. A quick, "You're doing great, keep it up," can help a new leader push past any self-doubt. Now, once someone starts taking on leadership tasks, celebrate their contributions publicly. Highlight their efforts in your community update newsletters or social media. For example, shout out to Adam for hosting an amazing discussion last week, or big thanks to Michelle for organizing our monthly meetup. When leaders feel valued, they're more likely to stay engaged and continue giving back. To keep leaders motivated, outline a clear pathway for growth. For example, start as a discussion moderator, progress to hosting workshops or events, and then eventually join an advisory board or maybe a leadership team. This structure not only helps current leaders grow, but also signals to other members that leadership is attainable. Turning lurkers into leaders isn't just about assigning tasks. It's about showing members their potential and giving them the tools to thrive. When you recognize, support, and celebrate leaders, your community becomes stronger, more connected, and more sustainable. So start looking for those sparks of leadership. You never know who might surprise you. All right, friends, let's wrap things up with something that you can put into action right away. Your mission for this week, should you choose to accept it, is simple but powerful. Pick one strategy from today's episode and try it out in your community. Here's the deal. It doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe you'll launch a low-pressure, simple challenge to spark some engagement. Maybe you'll send a warm, personal DM to a lurker and invite them to join the conversation. Or perhaps you'll take a moment to celebrate those small wins, giving someone a shout out for their first post or thanking them for attending an event. The key is to commit to one idea and see it through. Take a step, however small, and then track the results. You might be surprised at how even the tiniest changes can snowball into big shifts in engagement. Pro tip: set aside 15 minutes to map out your action plan. What will you do? Who will you target? And how will you measure success? Having a clear goal will make it easier to follow through and see tangible results. And if you're feeling extra ambitious, share your progress with me over on Instagram at Your Community Strategist or inside the co-op. I'd love to cheer you on and maybe even feature you and your success in a future episode. Who knows? Your breakthrough might inspire other listeners too. Remember, building a thriving community isn't about doing everything at once. It's about taking consistent, intentional steps, just like this one. So, what's your first move going to be? Okay, friends. Thanks for tuning in to Your Community Strategist. If you found today's episode helpful, I'd love it if you shared it with a friend who's also building their own community. It might be just what they need to hear. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until then, keep building communities that shine. And remember, even the quietest members have something truly amazing to contribute. See you next time. Bye, friends.